So, hello everyone. Welcome to the System Surveyor um, webinar on Web Editor 2.0, our latest and major revision of our web interface, our web editing interface. So, thank you all for joining us, and look forward to stepping through this big step forward for us. So, it will be me. I'm Chris Hugman, founder, CEO of System Surveyor. And if we've not had a chance to visit, my background includes 20 or so years in the system integration space, security system integration space before, developing, launching System Surveyor. So somewhat acquainted with all of the challenges that you all have in the market. So appreciate you all being here. And with me, I have Eman Taylor, long time with System Surveyor, now product manager, doing a great job for us there, helping us bring the vision of what we want to deliver to market to reality. And so you'll see a big part of what he's been working on for quite some time now as we step through it. So yeah, let's talk about Web Editor 2.0 then. So it's here. I can't tell you how excited I am and the team at System Surveyor is to finally put this out into your hands. We've been working on it for quite a long time. This is the next generation web interface for System Surveyor, and you're going to see so many improvements in little ways and in major ways that we'll touch on. So part of the reason we're so excited is that now it opens up some possibilities for us to deliver some features and things that we've been wanting to do for quite a long time, because we've kind of retooled some of the front end side of things, the web interface. We've had a lot of inputs from the user community all along the way. So if you've been part of that, thank you. That's been very important. And there's still a lot of things that we've heard that we're working on in terms of next steps. A big part of this is we introduced a new tablet app. We call our Tablet 2.0 app about a year ago. And so that brought a new look and feel to the mobile experience, both the iPad as well as an Android tablet. If you use that, you may have seen that. So a lot of those same look and feel is going to come over to the web, and you'll see it, and you may have probably already seen it because you may have been using it. So that's a big step forward. So it's consistent on both platforms. And then also, I want to thank, we've been testing what we're calling Web Editor 2.0. We've been testing it out in the market for 3 or 4 months now, and had a couple of hundred users that were helping us test that. So if you've been part of that, thank you very much. And just know that we have taken a lot of feedback along the way before we launched it out into the market. And so so that's a little bit of background. Again, so excited to get this into the hands of our users, and so that you can experience. I mean, the System Surveyor is really about helping you, improve your efficiency when you go out to a customer site. We really want to help you improve that customer experience as you present to the customer and that you engage with them. And we've heard that over and over. And hopefully, this takes that another step up. And we want to be a key part of your success as we go into 2025, and just make it a great year for you guys, for our user community, as we come out of the gates with this brand new platform. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eman and let Eman take it from here and show you some of the things that we've been working on.
Thank you, Chris. As Chris mentioned, my name is Emmanuel Taylor. I go by Eman. I am a product manager here at System Surveyor, and I share in my enthusiasm, my excitement for System Surveyor Web Editor 2.0. It's been a long time coming, and we've been able to incorporate a lot of feedback directly from our customers, from our different communities, and from everything we've heard over the years, whether it's some interaction or some way to make your jobs a little bit easier. So I'll touch on the highlights, and then I'll do a demonstration as well. To start things off, we've dramatically improved the floor plan resolution. So when you're starting a survey within System Surveyor, or you're importing a PDF, we've enhanced the resolution for a more detailed floor plan and just better visibility. The second point is we've added some easy to use drawing tools, whether that's customizing the shape, the color, the opacity, and the fill we know how important it is to mark up floor plans or just add additional annotations. So we think we've taken a big step in the right direction. We know from the feedback we've gotten so far, we know there's some additional things you guys want, but part of the reason we're doing this new revamp is to be able to deliver on a lot of the things you guys are asking for. The third piece is the search for favorite elements. So the ability to quickly search whether you're adding cameras, doors, smoke detectors, whatever it may be, just the ability to quickly search. And we know how important the survey process is, and then also how time sensitive that survey process is. So just an additional way to speed up the design process. And then probably what I am most excited about is new reports. So we've added the ability to customize reports, filter reports, and then some new and additional customization when it comes to the legend and when it comes to how the floor plan reports look and how you can deliver those to your customer. So as important as we know the survey process is, we know the collaboration and sharing the deliverables with stakeholders or with end users or your customers. We know how important that process is. So we wanted to make that process easier and just to be able to deliver better reports. And this is what our current customers are saying. So as Chris mentioned, we did have lots of input from our beta users and individuals that were testing it out over the past few months. So hopefully you guys have had a chance to do so. But just some comments from our customers that have had the opportunity to use Web Editor 2.0. So we hope you guys have good feedback as well. And with that, I'll go ahead and jump into a live demonstration. As I'm going through this, don't hesitate to chime in your questions and put those in the chat, and we should answer those as quickly as we can. So the first thing I'll start off with is the actual importing of surveys, just because I wanted to show the resolution improvements. And this is just to give you guys a kind of side-by-side comparison. This is a survey imported in via the classic web editor. So the one of the things we've noticed was the pixelation, how the text is not that clear when you actually import a survey. So I'll go through and import a survey, press new survey, just like you all would do before. This screen looks a little bit different, but we have options that you're familiar with. Quick Start, which is just a blank canvas satellite image, which is using a Google Maps library, and then local files. And I'll select a PDF here. One thing we did adjust is the scale tool. So hopefully you guys find this a little bit more friendly to use. I'll set this to 30 feet. We know the typical recommendation if you guys have been with System Surveyor for some time is to just use a double door or something you know the specific dimensions for. I know this door is 6 feet, so I'll actually just use this door here. But it seems like a small thing, but hopefully it's a big win for you all is the resolution. So you can see when I zoom in on this floor plan, just how the text is now legible. You can actually see what the text on floor plans when you import them. And hopefully that just makes the survey process that much better. And also when you deliver floor plans to your stakeholders, customers, we maintain that level of clarity throughout the product. So you will have to use the new version to get that clarity. old floor plans, say even, or old surveys will not, will still have the same resolution, so you'll need to switch to the new version. Then you can use the replace feature to update the floor plan if you do want to do that. But yeah, it's from 2.2 editor 2.0 moving forward, so it doesn't retroactively fix fix any resolution there. And I'll go into a floor plan that already has some elements on it. On the left-hand side of the screen here, we have things you should be familiar with. Add element, that is how you add elements to the survey. Drawing tools, this is some of our new markups we've talked about. Element info, this is now the element info instead of the attribute panel. And survey info, and I'll go through each one of these. With adding an element, you can see it's the same exact look and feel where you drag and drop. Thing we did add was the search here, so I can search specifically for fixed camera, or let's say smoke detector. I can quickly search and then drag and drop these directly onto my floor plan here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that guy. Delete some of these elements. And after I drag and drop an element, one thing we added was the element info. So this gives you the ability to update information about that device and also see the floor plan at the same time. So if you want to click through devices, I'm on this fixed camera here. I can see fixed camera 2, see the device information about that device. Then I can just switch through my devices here. So I can kind of pan through all my devices without actually leaving the view of the floor plan, which I've gotten a lot of good feedback about that. One other thing as it relates to element info, I'm still trying to find the best way to explain this, but one thing we've added is the ability to, we've done some background work on the ID. So oftentimes our customers lay out cameras through 1 through 10, and then they start on the second floor, and then they would previously have to renumber those devices. What we've added here is if you renumber your device, say this fixed camera, I'm going to change it to 201. Let's say I'm now on the second floor, for example's sake. Once I change this to 201 and then I begin adding new devices, the count continues from the numbers that I change it to. So the next device is 202, the next device is 203, so on and so forth. So whatever you change your the camera ID or device ID to, we actually added the ability to maintain that as you add devices. And I said I would touch on the rest of these here. Drawing tools, we've added freeform, an arrow, text, squares, circles, and lines. And one thing I'm really excited about is the opacity and fill. So I'll just add a square here and I'll change the color of it so y'all can see that. That is a red square, but say I want to identify that room as you guys would know better than I would, but say I want to identify that room as some security protocol, I can change the opacity of that and identify that room this way. So really excited about, I know it's a it's a small thing to have a fill or outline, but it's I know how useful marking up the floor plans are. And you can do that same fill and opacity with the circle. Then with lines and arrows, you can change the opacity as well. So you can see this line I can quickly change the opacity. And I found something we need to fix. So we can change the opacity of that line there. Now I'll go ahead and delete those shapes, but the same capability for the drawing tools will be applied to the photo annotation. So if you take a photo and you want to adjust the fill opacity on pictures, you can do that as well. And then element info, I touched on that. And add element, I touched on that. The next piece I wanted to discuss a little bit is the area of coverage. And this may be a small thing, but again, I'm excited about it, is the ability to adjust the area of coverage across multiple devices at the same time, or not at the same time, but without having to exit and re-exit that mode. So I can move this camera and I can adjust this area of coverage. I can go to the next device and just continuously do that without having to change modes or go in and out of a mode, just to make this process a little bit faster, a little bit simpler. Previously, you would have to do jumping jacks a little bit to adjust the area of coverage. So small thing, but again, really exciting. You don't have to enter and exit a mode to move the devices and as well as adjust the area of coverage. So that is a lot of the survey interactions, and we've added more tweaks and interactions that we tried to improve, but definitely want your feedback on how that's working for you all. The next piece I'll touch on is the reporting. So at the three dot menu at the top right hand corner, if you click on that, there's a variety of options. These are very similar to what you have seen before in Classic, but send a link, that's sending a link to the survey. Before I jump into reports, I just want to touch on this, importing and exporting data to Excel. This, we wanted to make it a little bit more obvious. A lot of our customers that have been with us for, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, didn't previously know about this feature. So we wanted to kind of bring it to the forefront and make it just as simple to use, but just a little bit more obvious. And if you don't know, what this allows you to do is export this data to Excel. So export whatever is on your survey to an Excel sheet that says export data to bulk edit. That will then export to an Excel file. Within that Excel file, and it does take a minute because it's grabbing everything across this entire survey and putting it in an Excel file. But then you can update this directly in Excel. So you wanted to update the installation status or the manufacturing model or IP address, update that in Excel, and then import this. And I don't know if you can see the Excel.
Yeah, we see it.
So here goes Excel. You can update these columns here, like I was mentioning, the install status, manufacturer, model, a variety of different fields. Save this file and then import it back into System Surveyor. So I would just save that file, press import, and then select that file to update. So went down a little bit of a tangent there, but wanted to show you guys the reports. So if you click on reports, I'll go ahead and save this. And out of everything we've been working on, I'm personally most excited about the reports. And give this a minute to save. So we have a variety of reports that we're working on that are currently available, and there are more to come soon. We have elements, bill of materials, layout, and then we're working on the cables and photo tour. To discuss the elements report, a little bit. We got a lot of feedback from customers on the ability to pick and choose what goes into a report. So on the right-hand side of the screen here, there's this Manage Columns button. And if I click Manage Columns, I can pick and choose what goes into the report. So I'll add associated container, I'll add installation status, and I'll add room location. Not all these fields are going to be filled out, but you can see then here I have room location, installation status, associated container. Those attributes are then added to the report. I can sort these from this point. Say you wanted to sort these by system type. Now all my access control are grouped together, then audio visual, then information technology. You get the picture, but the flexibility to visually see and report on what you want. If I click manage columns again, one piece I often overlook is the ability to change the order of the table. So say you want associated container. I want this at the top, right next to element ID. Can adjust that there. And then I want quantity right next to model. You can just drag and drop those and press OK. And then it changes the order of the table there. And then of course, exports that to Excel. And so far, really exciting feedback over this one, but welcome your inputs there. Next is before I jump to the bill of materials, sorry, at the top left-hand corner, there's also a filter columns button. So this, you can pretty much filter this however you'd like. We'll keep it simple by just doing element name and say you just want fixed cameras and PTZ cameras, none of the other elements on your survey. That will then filter this report just to PTZ and fixed cameras. And you can really cut this any way you'd like. There's a variety of different filters, but it's pretty much every field that's in the table. And I'll remove that. The next one I'll jump over to is the bill of materials. We know how important the bill of materials is. And yeah, just be able to quickly generate this without at the click of a button, I think is pretty awesome. So welcome your feedback there. We do have a little bit of cleanup to do here, but the basis of this is it's a bill of materials. So it's based on quantity, unit price, labor hours, and then we have extended price. And we have little information bubbles here that walk through exactly how this works, but I'll explain it in detail. Quantity, that's pretty straightforward. That's based on the manufacturing model. So I have a pro data key with this model. There was two of those on that survey. The unit price is an average. So if you have two devices that are both $300, of course, the average will be 300, but we did average those in case there's varying device price. Labor hours, this is pulled from the labor that's in the installation hours that's associated to that device. So within the attribute window or element info, there is the labor hours. But what we did is multiply the labor hours times the labor rate. So I'll show you visually so it's not as confusing. In the account settings, there is the labor rate here. And how I got that was profile, and then budget estimator. there is this labor rate here. So it is taking the install hours times the labor rate, and then it's giving me the extended price. And the formula for the extended price, you guys can read this, but quantity times unit price, and then labor hours times labor rate, and then adding those two together, and you get the extended price. If that confused anybody, sorry. And then we have a summary based on all of that. And then lastly is the layout report. So probably one you guys care about the most, one your customers care about the most, the one you guys spend all your hard work to deliver at the end of the day is the layout report. And this is pretty much survey. We made it layout instead of survey because yeah, you could have a satellite image, you could have a floor plan. It's kind of layout is all encompassing. But there is some customization we added to this report, similar to the other ones. So we'll start off with the manage layers here. So I can filter off the cable path. I have cable in a wonky spot there. But cable, let's say I'll take off the drawing labels, press OK, and that takes off the cable and the drawing. And I'll toggle those back on so you can see this circle here.
Say, E-Man, could you zoom out just a bit? We can't see
Yeah,
the entire screen.
yeah, happy to do that.
There we go.
Zoom out on my browser a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so under this layers, there's cables and drawings. I can also take off the element label and the area of coverage. So the label and the area of coverage there. And then under the settings on the left-hand side of the screen here, I can change what the look and feel of this report. So I can add a company logo, I can add my client name, but what I'm most excited about is the title block. So if I click title block, I quickly added a title block and a legend. So one bit of feedback we've often got from customers was the colors did not match on the legend. So if I had a blue camera on my floor plan, on the old reports, we weren't necessarily counting the blue cameras versus the orange cameras. So what we did was we added additional flexibility, and we add 3 count by. So you can count by element name, count by installation status, or count by model. And element name, what that does is exactly what it says, does a count based on the element name and the color. So this is on this survey, I have 3 fixed cameras that are of this color, 3 fixed cameras that are blue, 3 fixed cameras that are red. But if I change this to count by install status, it then takes into consideration the installation status. So I have the blue cameras marked as proposed, and the red cameras are also proposed. I need to massage this demo a little bit more, but you get the picture. Basically, it's taken to account the installation status when it's creating the legend. And the last piece is model. So it's doing a count across the models, and it's adding that um, to the legend. So really excited about that piece. Open to any questions there. And the last piece is client name. So I'll make this give me a client, ABC company. That then gets added to the title block as well. And the last piece I did not touch on is You can actually report across up to 10 surveys. So in this site, I just have 3, but I can select multiple surveys and then run all of these reports across multiple surveys. And then I'll just go ahead and export this. Before that, let's just go ahead and add the title block and company logo back. Export this. And this is how the export looks. So we have a PDF we can then share that way. That is those are the highlights of Web Editor 2.0. I'm sure you guys have additional questions and comments, but wanted to share the highlights and at a very high level what we've been working on.
Great, thanks. Thanks, man. I am so excited about that reporting capability and would encourage all of you to dig in and try just playing with it. We've added a feedback button, so please use the feedback button to give us some thoughts. I see some questions here, Eman, a couple of questions from the folks. One is, I guess, back on the survey, if we could maybe pop that back up.
Yes, sir.
On the drawing tools, can I just draw a building interior if no floor plan is available? Maybe with a quick start, maybe or something like that. How would we do that?
Yes, sir. So with the quick start, I'll go ahead and do a quick start. And hopefully the drawing tools are that much easier to use where you can draw buildings that much easier. So you can. So I started a quick start survey. This is just a basic outline. And then I can change the thickness of the walls as well.
Yeah, maybe use a line tool and other tools there too. So, okay, great. Well, maybe, yeah, so that's how you might draw it. And I would note, our intentions are to enhance the drawing tool. Your feedback would be great as you use it for different things like drawing floor plans. Just dropping us some feedback so we know which direction to head on that. So thanks, David. Question for Mike. From Mike, he says, if we delete an element in the middle of a run, would it renumber the other elements? So when you were doing the ID extension renumbering,
Yes,
um,
sir.
and you changed that, would it renumber everything?
Great question. So right now these are fixed camera 1, 2, 3, and then if I delete this one, let's say I delete number 2, and I then add my 4th camera, it just picks up based on the highest number, so it doesn't actually start the count back over. What I would recommend is use the import export functionality to relabel them.
Yeah. Yeah. I would add, it's a tricky business on our end to start relabeling some of these things because there might be some devices that are already in place and already, numbered in other systems. And so we want to be careful that we don't, kind of change something that maybe some of our users are depending on. So I would add with Eman that maybe the import export is it's a pretty easy way to renumber, change some information on the elements, that sort of thing. So great, thanks, Eman. Another question from David. Does he says, does this only apply to the app or is it also on the PC? I'm not sure the question, except that to note that what we're showing to you today is all on your browser. So that would be all on your PC. So everything we've shown today, David, is on the PC. Couple of the key differences I would note is the reporting engine is far more robust on your web interface that we're showing you here. We can do so much more on the reporting on your web browser than we can say on the tablet. So if you're doing what like the reports, need to export a customized report, then that you would want to do that on the web. do the survey on the tablet at the field, upload that to the web, and now you can report everything on it. Another question here. It would be great to have a total for equipment and a total for labor before the extended price. Okay, interesting. Good feedback. E-Man, thoughts about that?
Thank you. That is, I can see where you want to break that out. What was who asked that?
That was Jose.
Hey, Jose, thank you. We'll review that.
Yeah, we'll capture that. The thing on that is just to know what we're doing is we're trying to offer you an estimated price based on whatever prices you put in there, and so it's um, helpful to use with your customer to say, okay, here's kind of the ballpark we're in. We use one labor rate, and most companies that I'm aware of, my old company did, we use different labor rates for different, for the system tech versus the installation tech versus maybe the project manager. So it's not an exact science. It's used to simply just provide a blended labor rate to provide an estimate of, okay, we're kind of in this ballpark. And the idea there is that your customer, you can now communicate to your customer, okay, here's kind of the ballpark we're in. We're in a $30,000 project, and the customer may say, okay, well, that's fine, or they may say, well, I need to pull that back a little bit. So at least now kind of where the target is in terms of what the customer might be looking for in that pre-sales situation. So that's there. And David comments, I love you. Thank you. He says, awesome. I love it. So we appreciate that feedback, certainly. And just going through, AJ says, would we be able to request a new element, for example, an environmental sensor? So I would say absolutely, but E-Man, what about new elements?
Yeah, good question. We have a backlog of elements we need to add. So you definitely request those, and we're working on delivering those. So keep them coming. And the one you just said is new. I hadn't heard it before, so definitely let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. So as I mentioned, we've been working on Web Editor 2.0 and had pretty much a singular focus to get this out. And I like to think of it as a new car. Sometimes when you buy a new car, there's some bells and whistles that you didn't even know you needed. And so hopefully we've been able to deliver some of those here with Web Editor 2.0. And so now, with this, we've been focused, but we're going to be able to then bring in some of the new elements that we've been requesting and such. Again, here on this screen, over on the left-hand side, what we call the rail over on the left-hand side, you can see feedback, provide feedback. Oh, please use that button. Several of us watch that and look for that and capture every one of those that we get into our system, so we have an idea of what customers are really, what you guys are really wanting to see. So, okay, let's see. Do we have, let's see, other questions? So David consents with Jose, likes the idea that he was having. Another question, when we import a partner's products, why does it delete all the elements that we have already entered, i.e. more than one vendor? Okay, so that has to do with element profile imports, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And so that's a little bit separate than what we covered, but that's okay. E-Man, you want to?
Great question. Excuse me. Yeah, we're aware of that. What I'd recommend is combining the vendors in the actual Excel sheet itself. I know that's a little bit of a workaround, definitely an area where we want to improve. So yeah, my recommendation would just be to combine those in the Excel file before uploading. But yeah, as Chris mentioned, we were singularly focused on getting that out. So we have the capacity to address some of those little headaches like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're going to see some enhancements on the element profile side of things this year. But yeah, that's probably the best way. Combining into one spreadsheet then gets all the lists together. Let's see, David, question from you. May I create an element myself? We don't have that yet. They do need to come through us because we maintain how we work with elements. It's important that we maintain a specific structure and attribute set. We are working on some enhancements, let me say, that will allow you to customize some of the elements more to your liking. And whether you can create it or not, I don't know, but we'll certainly be allowing customization in the future. Another question from David. Like to create an element on the fly. I don't want to have to wait for you. Totally understandable. If a manufacturer comes out with a new device, I have to wait for you now. That is a problem. We hear you. And I apologize for that. It is, for instance, the reports that we're doing and that sort of thing, we need to maintain a specific data structure for that. And that's been, I guess, one of the challenges, but that's certainly we can overcome that. And under the filters, some from AJ, under the filters, could you move area of coverage under system type? Maybe more advantage. Sometimes drawings become too congested. So, Eman, what do you think there? Could you
Yeah,
move area coverage under system type?
sorry for zooming in wonky there. We do have the ability to remove the area of coverage globally. What I think Jose may be suggesting or asking is, say, for example, video surveillance, can I just remove the um, area of coverage just for the video surveillance icons? But let us know, Jose. Of course, we do
Yep.
have the ability to take them off globally today and then remove each system type. But if you're asking for the area of coverage for each system type, yeah, if you
Yeah.
just put that in to be explicit, we can keep that on.
Yeah. That was AJ asked a
Oh,
question.
AJ,
Just, oh, by
sorry.
the way. So thanks, AJ. Yeah, another thought is, a lot of times we associate what we call the area coverage with only video surveillance. Of course, we use area coverage for a variety of other element types, like as you see here in the middle of your screen, a projector for audiovisual, or a motion detector for the coverage area of a motion detector. So we do use the area coverage in different ways. So it's not only and specifically to video surveillance. So just an aside comment on that. Super. Well, great. Let's see, David, another one. May I please have the ability to show an area coverage right now on a PTZ? Right now, I just show a dot on the wall. Yeah, it's been great. Again, good feedback. We don't have the area coverage on the PTZ, and certainly could, we need to consider that. So if others of you have that same opinion, please weigh in. So we'll take that. We'll take that one on. And the idea being that a PTZ, doesn't have a specific area coverage, rather it roams and roves, as a user has a need. So okay, great. Let me see if they keep coming in. David Cooper. Uh, Will you still have access to the classic report from 2.0 web? That is photo tours. It works great for drilling into photos. So, yep,
Great question, David. Yes, we'll have access to the classic photo tour. Of course, we're going to bring the photo tour to the new version. But if you do need access to that, there is the reports option here. And then you can still access the classic photo tours that way. So that is how I access that was on the site overview, just the reports option there. And of course, our goal is to bring over the photo tours and the other reports that you guys find beneficial. So good to know that you guys are still using that one.
yeah, yeah. We will definitely have the photo tour, as was shown. It's coming soon. And there's always the classic app. If you want to go back to the old way of doing it, and because of whatever reason, maybe you can use that. We're going to encourage you to go to the Web 2.0. It would really be helpful for us if you find yourself having to go back to Web Editor.
Yeah.
Let us know maybe what's causing that, what maybe something isn't quite user friendly or understandable in the new interface. That would be really helpful, because we won't be able to support the classic interface long term. So we need to make sure, we've got all the functionality that you need in the new interface. Okay, AJ, gotcha. The PTZ home position would be for the default coverage. Yep. And David Cooper, really love what is shared today. Thanks. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. And it looks like we've had some great questions. Great questions there. The one thing that I would note on on the reports, that might be of interest also is those columns. Eman mentioned the column manager over on the right hand of that report. And maybe if you could just navigate over there.
Sure.
You can rearrange the order of the columns. And so I think that's important. Over on the right-hand side, you can just grab those little handles and move them around, and that actually changes the order of the report. So another great feature that we've been working on in these reports. And so such a big improvement over where we've been, and I hope that you feel the same way. Okay, well, we're just a couple of minutes over our allotted time, so I want to be respectful of all of you, and thank you for hanging in there. I hope that this overview was helpful, and you find it beneficial. There is a new user webinar coming up next week on the 15th. So if you have folks that are using System Surveyor, want to really dig in and kind of go a little more deliberately through each of the features, that new user webinar is going to be a kind of maybe another layer down. And so that would be on the 15th of next year. I'm sorry, next week. So great. Thank you all for joining us today. As I mentioned, we are really, really excited about this new development, releasing our Web Editor 2.0. Really, I know you have a lot of folks asking for your feedback. We've tried to make it as easy as we can. So really would appreciate that. And thank you for being part of the System Surveyor community. You guys have a great week.
Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Take care.